But for in 1 year, just meeting more and more higher level folks. If they're, there's a book out there I'll name drop. 10x is easier than 2x by Dan Sullivan. Read that book, because if you're at 2x, you're in the wrong place. You need 2x is or 10x is actually easier than 2x, and I'm the first to testify to that. And I think that's what I see is when I see a year. I don't do 5-year goals. I usually do 1 month, 6 months, and then 1 year goals, like you said. And my 1 year goals, they're almost unbelievable what I'm going to be doing, but I don't care. That's what I'm going for.
Martians landed.
Yes.
Wearing Prada suits.
Yes.
Drinking Henry Seltzer.
Yes.
Chewing juicy fruit.
Yes, and?
Your branding here.
Yes, brand.
Your message here.
Yes, and?
A verse about.
Yes.
Your product here.
Yes.
I'm Hersh Redmond.
Yes, and?
I'm a message therapist.
Yes.
And I have a podcast.
Yes, brand.
That's right, that's it.
Yes.
We'll help you fix the world.
Yes.
Or your bottom line.
All right.
Your bottom line.
Get it. I get it. Welcome to the Yes Brand Podcast.
Jimmy Boheler and I are having some laughs on the brand voice runway, and you are joining our conversation already in progress. Jimmy, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much, man. What an honor and just a pleasure just to, save a little time, get in this space that you're in and learn a little bit about what you're doing. And then, of course, share a little bit of how I'm helping some business owners out there and things like that. But yeah, thanks again. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. We've had a few conversations prior to this, and Jimmy is an expert in networking and how to use networking to your best ability, really, how to meet the people you need to meet and what that needs to look like. And it's not just anybody that can do that. What was the impetus, Jimmy, for getting into the business of networking?
Yeah, it's interesting. Great question. I love a question like this. Absolutely. To get into networking, it was one of those things where I came in with insurance, and with insurance, you hear more of B2C with that. And what I liked was with health insurance is what I was actually, when I came into networking, that's what I was going after was business owners. And I'd never done any network. I didn't know how to network. I had always dealt with customers. But with networking, it's amazing what you can do. You can double your sales very quickly just by a few contacts. I believe there's an old saying that we're connected by, I think, 7 people. That's how how far we are connected. But so I saw an opportunity with the healthcare, and then it turned into networking with more small business owners. Going, okay, wait a minute. Healthcare is a very, very it can be a touchy subject. There's a lot of opportunity there, but when it comes to small business owners, I think marketing is a bigger arena that I feel that small business owners have a lot of challenge there. It's a lot of challenge, a lot of different steps when it comes to marketing. And I think one of the biggest steps you can take is networking and meeting others, going out there and sharing what you do, not so much to brag and to be selfish, but to be the giver and say, hey, look, what can I do for your business? What are you looking to do? What is your problem that maybe or maybe not I can solve? And if I can't, at least I can get you with someone that can.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing that we're all looking for anyway, is connection. It's on a human level and it's on a business level. And I don't really separate the two. I like to join the two together because I try to work with people I like. And I think a lot of us do. And it takes some of the pain out of trying to meet people, trying to get connected, because if you know someone and you know a little about them and they know a little about you, that's already half the work done. Now your company, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can see that behind Jimmy is a huge freight train, and his logo is a freight train. It's Freight Train Marketing. Tell us a little bit about now. First of all, also you're in North Carolina, And tell us a little bit about the Freight Train marketing moniker.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it. Again, great question. I love this question. I get this a lot. Talking about networking and going back for that for a second was, you got to stand out. You got to be different. And one of the things that I found out was a lot of people do like this big orange train behind me. And that came about a couple years back, about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. I was introduced to a gentleman, or a friend of mine introduced me to a couple books by Napoleon Hill and Bob Proctor and some of these great writers back in the past that have, if you go to any successful entrepreneur, business owner, they probably read a Think and Grow Rich, or maybe even a Wallace Wattles with The Science of Getting Rich. And I was introduced to that. And at that point in my life, I had a lot of experience with small business ownership. I had about 5 or 6 companies that I had ran or shut down or sold or something, and just really was in, they call it the hamster wheel. I was working butt off and not getting anywhere. And all of a sudden I got into these books and started going, wait a minute, maybe it's a mindset. Maybe I can do whatever it is I'm thinking I can do. I just got to go out there and do it. Just go out there and put the right foot in front of the left foot, quit thinking and start doing. And amazing things started happening. Well, the freight train comes in, and basically how that came to be was some friends. They always say you kind of go out of an old mindset and into a new mindset, or an old body into a new body. And that's what happened to me. I was actually kind of standoffish. I kind of was working so hard. I just didn't know where I was going. And all of a sudden, with a couple books, reading, mindset, getting habits, getting those daily motivation, getting out of my own way, it turned into this freight train type mindset and this freight train. So it stuck, and people started calling me the freight train, because now there was really nothing that could stop me. And even now I'm having a lot of success in this business. And I actually have 4 or 5 other businesses that I'm working on at the same time. But that's what's great, is when you get out of your own way and you start believing in you, it's almost like a freight train. It takes a lot to get a freight train going. But once you get a freight train in motion, there's nothing that can stop it. I mean, there's really not a lot of things that can stop a moving freight train. So that's where that idea came from. And then, of course, this year, I decided to go ahead and brand that and say, okay, what about freight train marketing? I've even got some freight train mindset, some coaching I do as well. So it's just kind of turned into something. So sorry for the long soapbox there, but that's kind of how the journey began. And it's been definitely a ride since then.
Well, and I totally relate to the transformation thing. It doesn't matter where it starts or what puts it in motion. The idea of limiting beliefs and what we just are afraid to say that we can do. And I know, look, I do stand-up comedy. I know that stage fright is a thing. People can be very shy, very reserved. It is always easier to not take a chance. It is always easier to just stay in the corner and let somebody else do the talking, right? And we look at people who naturally, some people talk too much. They have a big mouth. They get themselves in trouble. But we look at those people a lot and we go, oh, they're really more the leader type, or they're really more the hustler or the mover and shaker. We're the workhorse, or we're the busy bee, we're the whatever. And it's nonsense in the fact that once we prove ourselves wrong in that regard, it is like a freight train, and there is nothing that can stop us. Like I would have no indication from the times that I've spoken with you that you were ever shy, right? That you ever would have held back, or that you weren't industrious and that didn't have a bunch of businesses. That's why I wanted to have you on the show, because Brand Voice Runway is about 2 parts. One is, what are we building? And how audacious is it? And how grand is our vision? And then the other is, what is the message that we're putting behind it? What is our own personal brand? And so I think that, this is probably a good time to talk a little bit about your grander vision for your businesses and what you would like to see happen over the, next year, let's say, or what's in the works.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it. Another great question. You said two things I want to go back to. One was, our brain is trained to rest and not do anything activity.
Right.
When we think bigger, we're really actually making our brain work harder, and that's what I love. And I love testing my brain now. And the second thing you said, audacious. That's one of my favorite words. Is I have a buddy of mine who is a W-2. I like to you compared to 1099 and W-2 employee, but he's a W-2 employee, so he thinks different than I do. But one of the things he said, how in the world do you get out of bed in the morning, Jimmy? What do you do? You're up at 6 o'clock in the morning and no boss, no time card. How do you do it? And I said, because I've got audacious goals. I've got goals so big that it'll make you get out of bed. Your dream. My dreams are not dreams. They're actually reality. They just hadn't happened. They're just on the way. They just hadn't happened yet. So I wanted to, when you said audacious, that's the first thing I thought was my audacious goals. I have very big goals, and I hope others do too. I hope I can come across and help others get those really goals, those big goals. Now, in a year from now, man, a lot of opportunity out there. Technology, AI is coming in very quickly. You either like it or you don't, kind of thing. But I think with my company and the marketing and the strategy is really just partnering up with those bigger companies. I've had some great one-to-ones the past 3 or 4 weeks. And if you want to do a one-to-one, someone, reach out to me. I love doing one. I will meet you. I don't mind meeting anybody because there's always something that I can somehow offer to you, to anybody out there. But for in 1 year, just meeting more and more higher level folks, if they're, there's a book out there I'll name drop. 10x is easier than 2x by Dan Sullivan. Read that book, because if you're at 2x, you're in the wrong place. You need 2x is or 10x is actually easier than 2x, and I'm the first to testify to that. And I think that's what I see is when I see a year. I don't do 5-year goals. I usually do 1 month, 6 months, and then 1 year goals, like you said. And my 1 year goals, they're almost unbelievable what I'm going to be doing. But I don't care. That's what I'm going for. I've set high standards and those audacious goals. So as far as the company, just keep scaling as fast as I can. Breaking records. That's what I want. Break those records. But yeah, just meeting more people. I would be my biggest one. Is just the faster I can meet people. That's one more quick thing I want to touch on is, sense of urgency. You don't have that much time. If you go and I think you can Google a man's life expectancy and how long they'll live. I think I used to flirt with 73, 74. I think it's 76 now. So if I'm 44, I'll give that up. So 30, 40 years, that's all I got left. I got to get going. Well, I've wasted. Look how much time I've already wasted. So that would be something I would tell other business owners is quit waiting. If you think it will work, go do it and learn. We never fail. We learn. So don't focus on, well, it might not work. Oh, it'll work because you'll learn. So
yeah. Like I tell people, look, I held back on certain things because I didn't want to fail, because I didn't want to shatter the dream that it might work. So in other words, you wouldn't do something because you think, well, if you fail, it's not so much just the failure, it's that dream doesn't exist anymore. But what people don't realize is it's just a door to another dream. All it means is if you take 3 steps today, you don't know what it's leading you to. Even you may have a goal in front of you. Like I love what you said about having a goal for a month, having a goal for a couple months, because that's going to get us somewhere we never even dreamed of. It could be the sale we've been trying to get, or better. Yeah. We don't know. It's just always add or better to the end of what you want. So you pick your crazy audacious goal and you say, yeah, I want to achieve that goal, or better, or something better. If something better comes along, I can shift my priorities, Absolutely. And that, by the way, is we're adding more good to the world. We're trying to help people. I mean, I can't tell you how many new people I meet that, and almost all of them, we race each other to the punch of saying, what can I do for you? How can I help you? Because we see the value of putting that out there. And I don't know if that's something that in the W-2 world, people have the luxury of doing, right? Because it's it's maybe a little more constrained. The how can I serve you mentality isn't necessarily built in to that construct.
Yeah, and I think what I've seen through my experience because I was a W-2, you gotta say you can't knock it right till you try it, right? So I was a W-2 for I guess right at because I was in the service industry, and service industry as a server is a little bit different than W-2 because you got paid blah blah blah. But I did go into the bigger, large Michelin tires. I've probably heard of that company before, right?
Sure.
But in that, you said it. You're exactly right, because I think in the W-2 world, you got to try to succeed for you. You're trying to level up. You're trying to get better pay. You're trying to get better hours. In the 1099, you better go help somebody. You're not going to make it.
Yeah.
So I would agree with you totally. In the W-2, it is a different mindset. And my buddy, going back to that, is you got to drive yourself in the 1099 world, where W-2, they're telling you what time. I think Tim McGraw's got a line out right now, fighting that time clock. Fighting that clock on the wall. I'm not going to fight that clock on the wall anymore. I'm going to do it for me. And that's what that's where I put my foot down. And I love talking to W-2, because you can always learn a lot from that mindset and go, wait a minute, I'm so glad I'm not there anymore. But yeah, you're exactly right. I think it's just a different mindset, and it's something we can all, if you've never done the 1099 and never been on your own and never been the entrepreneur, it's scary. It's very scary, but that's what you need to be doing. If it scares the crap out of you, that's what you need to be doing.
I also think if we carry the 1099 mindset into a W-2 situation, into a W-2 job, we're going to be so much better for that organization than we would have been before. Because they have that expression, it's a dog eat dog world. Well, yeah, it could be, but it doesn't need to be. It isn't that, in order to succeed, someone else has to fail. In order to succeed, someone else has to succeed too. Because if I'm helping them achieve their goal and I succeed at my goal, then we've completed the picture. Client hires me not to fulfill my goal, but theirs. But my goal is to fulfill theirs and be better at what I do. So 2 people win for every win. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other way you can look at that too as well, Stephen Covey talks about in his book, 7 Habits, is not only the win-win, but the other win. You, me, and then the client. And that's right. That's when it's really, that's when I'm always looking for that third win too, is okay, I helped them. Now let's go help that client or whoever that may be as well. But yeah, you're spot on. I mean, it's so true. And I went into the W-2 world not having the 1099. And so I really was I was like, wow, what in the world? But now you're right. I wonder what kind of value I could add to that kind of mindset now. I know me and I've got several buddies that still work the 9 to 5 and off on the weekends and still get up on Monday and hate Mondays. And I'm over here going, I love Mondays. Mondays are the one days. One of my slogans actually right here on my computer, it says 6 Saturdays and a Sunday. I work 6 Saturdays and I think and I have a Sunday, and I treat it all, another friend of mine, I'm going on a trip this weekend with my family, going on a cruise. I love getting away, but here's what's great. And this is when you're becoming successful. It's work. It's not rich. I hate the word rich. It's wealthy. I think wealthy is a better term of that. And then success can be very mean a lot to different.
Well, it's personal. Yeah.
And here's where it really hits me right. I mean, just right in the heart. And that is, going this weekend. To me, it's just another day. It's just I don't work and then go vacation. I just keep it all level. I'm working. I'm having vacation. I call it my retirement, man. Because I'm thinking almost like retirement, because I get paid to have fun. My dad always said, you'll never work a day in your life if you have fun and you have fun.
Right.
And that's it. I mean, and that's what's that's what's been fun on this journey of really this whole freight train the past 2.5, 3 years is I quit working. I retired. When I fired my boss 5 years ago, I retired. And that's what's really fun is to have that kind of mindset where I just go, I have fun. And a lot of times I'll get off a Zoom or a podcast like this and go, I just worked. I used to go to a cubicle with, four walls, no windows, walking uphill both ways, right? But now it's nothing like that. And anybody can have this. It's not, anybody can have it. They can do it. You have to work hard. You will fail. There will be challenges. But if you put it in your mind, go do it. Put the action behind the talk. Go get whatever you want. It's out there.
Now, what I'm getting from this conversation is that in addition to doing an amazing job of networking, introducing people to the right people, having a couple of other businesses that also have to do with the customer experience, and you also have quite a bit of power as a motivational speaker. Are you doing some speaking engagements and stuff like that?
Haven't yet, but I have been told about 3 or 4 times recently that I need to get into that space a good bit. But I will tell you this: coming up end of the month, I'm doing a 5-day free challenge. It's going to be a 5-day challenge, networking challenge. I can show a person how to get 10 to 15 leads or referrals in their inbox by networking each and every day and double their sales. So I'm going to do that at the end of the month, and then toward Christmas, right, first week of December, I'm actually doing a 12-week. That's what's leading up the 5-day free challenge. It'll be a 12-week coaching course to teach others about networking and what the power behind networking. So yeah, there's a lot of things up and coming down the road. So I'm sure once those things get in place, probably first of the year, I'll be looking more for some speaking opportunities. Absolutely.
Well, I can see it. I can see it in your future, Jimmy, and I appreciate having you on. And if you want to have the last word, leave the audience, if you would, with one key work habit that you feel they'll benefit from.
Man, I'm going to take the words of Coach Valbano from NC State basketball team, and that was don't give up. Don't ever give up. It's everything you can have is right in front of you a lot of times. And what's even amazing is when you have that, when you do find that one piece that launches your business, or that one contact that launches your business, it changes everything for you. So yeah, that would be my last thing is just don't give up. It will be hard. When it's hard, that's when you're doing it right.
All right.
If you liked the show,
Yes, and
it worked for you,
yes, then
subscribe and leave a
yes, friend.
5-star review.
Yes, friend.
Tell all your friends.
Yes, friend.
Get your branding here.
Yes, friend.
Get your branding here.
Yes, friend.
Did I make it clear?
Yes, friend.
Get your branding on
Yes.
before they're gone.
Yes.